Well. Another day, another video of me exposing the fact that I can't code for Today, I'm going to be delving back into the dusty project files of my game Silhouette Dash to explain the large number of times bugs popped up in my game that are turned into features for various reasons. You probably know what I'm going to say next, but if you haven't downloaded Silhouette Dash, as you always can, do so for free. It has over 40 vibrant levels for you to play. Let me know how many deaths you have so far in the comments. Anyway, enough waffling, let's get started. Hey guys, Blakey here and welcome back. I did want to say we just hit 400 subs, which is just insane. Thank you all so much for the love and support. I love posting a video and waiting to see what you guys think of it every week. Right, I literally just said stop waffling and here I am. Let's get a move on, Blakey. So, jumping into one of the earliest bugs I can remember, which honestly shook me the hell up, and that is based around a turret mechanic some of the enemies have applied in the game. Now, when I made this system, it was following a tutorial on YouTube and it was months ago, and I really didn't have much knowledge of Unity compared to now. Because, I definitely would be able to do that now, yeah. Anyway, so explained simply, the system checks to see if the player is in a certain area, and if he is, start yeeting bullets at him at set intervals. For whatever reason, the time between each bullet was just randomly increasing until it was spitting out so many bullets, it was literally just a laser and thousands of bullets were in the scene at once. Obviously, this looked absolutely shocking, it was bad for performance, and just wasn't what I wanted in any way, shape or form. I spent absolute days trying to fix this bug. Eventually, I decided to just tweak the bullet speed and area of the target and all of that stuff just enough so it wasn't as noticeable. But here is where it came to my advantage. The bosses in the game use that script along with a few others. So if the player stands in the same spot for too long, the boss fires a lot of bullets at them and it kind of fits and looks very natural and organic and honestly brings the boss to life, forcing the player to keep moving. Hopefully you understand the explanation more than I understood the turret AI scripts. I'm low-key happy that that bug happened looking back on it, as the bosses came out much more epic. Just to clarify, I now understand why that bug happens. I'm no longer absolutely clueless. I'm digging myself a deep hole here. I think we should move on before I make this any worse. Anyway, the second bug slash feature is something probably everybody knows if they've played it. And that is the fact you cannot move left or right while standing on platforms that move. Before we carry on, I do want to say literally all of the bugs in this video are due to absolute bad game design practice that were developed months and months ago, and you should not follow any of them. Please save yourself the headache. Anyway, back to the bug. So on almost all of the moving platforms, you can't move on them, only jump and dash. This is due to the way the platform's movement conflicts with the way the player moves. This was a bug I found really late into development, like literally days before release. You can trust me when I say I was panicking like mad. So, explained simply, the player is moved using physics, whereas the platforms are moved using the physical location being changed, and that basically ignores physics altogether. This randomly caused an issue where the player would start jumping and moving and just spazzing all over the place and would not move at the right speed. I do love the way this bug decided to greet me right at the end of development, just to watch me blow up in stress, but yeah. Long story short, I had to simply disable movement while the player is on the platform to basically hide the bug. I disguised this by telling the player to make sure they position themselves in a good position on the platform to avoid spikes and other obstacles in the path of the platform. A cheap way to hide it, I'll admit, but hey, leave me be. It was literal hours before I needed to drop this game and it was the best I could do. So get off my back, man. For whatever reason, this method chose not to work in the final level of the game. I don't know why, I didn't have time to fix it, and honestly, I do not care. I don't think anybody has even reached that point in the game anyway. But yeah, bug turned feature number 2 complete. On to the next. So, in various levels, there are enemies that have a pathfinding script attached to them. It's a simple script that just chases the target being the player. Again, the bug we are going to talk about comes from it being moved using transform and ignoring physics. It was causing it to absolutely glitch the hell out when moving into walls and other objects, as the code did not include avoiding obstacles in the way. It instead just attempts to absolutely headbutt its way through everything. I tried a few other methods. Apparently, I can't talk or code. A few other methods of chase AI, but again, there just wasn't enough time to come up with a viable solution. So I had to just take it in my stride and use it to build on the lore of the game. I explained to the player that the glitching is due to the sheer aggression of the spikes and how they will stop at nothing to attack you. I guess for gamers who aren't developers, it's actually pretty cool and fits, but for people who can spot it right away, I just look like the biggest scrub. But here we are, that's pretty much the basis of the whole game. Again, this comes from me being stupid at the start of the development. I would not follow anything seen in this video, I promise. This next one is actually pretty interesting. So if you've played Silhouette Dash, you know there are 2 levels in the game in which you can't dash. This actually wasn't originally the plan for those levels. The way my camera system works, I wanted the camera to follow the player on both axes for these levels, but when this is the case, for whatever reason, my camera shake script decided not to work. To get around this, I had to use a Cinemachine camera, which is basically just a camera but from a different package, and it gives you different options, and that was pretty much my only option at the time. But the downside of that was I had an error if the player dashed. I'm not going to try to explain it as it is just so confusing and hard to explain as well. But long story short, those levels have no dash due to the bad design of the camera shake. Again, this did turn out for the better as it added some variety to the levels, which is epic. It's quite common in games for the devs to take away the power of the player for a short amount of time, then give it back, as they appreciate the benefit of it a lot more by doing so. Right, so the next one really only turned into a feature when I attempted a speedrun on this game, which can be found on the channel if you want to check it out. So I knew about this bug for a lot of the development, but because the code was all too deep at this point to fix it, I just left it because I was too scared to tackle the absolute messy web known as my code that had been twisted and turned upside down so many times it literally looked like a strand of DNA. Basically, the way the game checks if the player is on the ground is very unorthodox. Instead of using a method where it only checks if the player's feet are touching the ground, it actually checks if any part of the player is touching the floor. This means that if the player is against a wall that isn't assigned as a wall, the player can regain their jump back, allowing them to skip parts of the earlier levels. The code is like this because, you guessed it, I am an idiot. But for no longer. My next projects will have a much better workflow, so please don't leave. Anyway, the skips aren't actually possible in the later levels as my workflow changed and I found a quicker way to determine what's a wall and what's not efficiently. But yeah, go try for yourself. Many earlier levels have mini skips due to this stupid ass method of design. Okay, as a little bonus for hanging around this long, this isn't so much a bug but just me being an absolute idiot. So this was actually found while making my speedrunning video.
Right, this bit's going to be tough. Yes. No. Oh. Well, that's a bug and I'm going to use that to my... Okay, we're just going to carry on with that.
Yeah. So basically what I've done there is paint the spike tiles while having the ground tile selected, meaning the spikes were given the ground collider instead of the one that kills the player. Yeah, I'm an idiot, I agree with what you're thinking right at this very second. This method of painting the floors and the spikes and stuff was very efficient for like the whole second half of the game, but the only downside is that it relied on me and my memory to basically hold up for the rest of the game, which it clearly didn't hold up. Guys, if you've stuck around up to this point, let me know in the comments. Today's video was pretty funny to make, looking back on just how tragic I am coding efficiently. Again, thank you for helping me reach 400 subs. I'm absolutely loving these videos and talking to you guys, so let's keep pushing. Can we reach 500 subs this year? I'm not sure, but we can try. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to like the video, and if you're new around here, why not subscribe? As always, it is free. Guys, I thank you all very much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.